Hey, so I'm in Thailand, and this is something that's very unique to Thailand, or at least Bangkok. You have a combination marijuana shop and coffee, which is why I come here. And what's really interesting, let's just talk about this because I'm from San Jose, California, and we've had a big problem with the proliferation and, quite frankly, the lack of regulation, regarding these kinds of shops. And so in downtown San Jose, it's just a bit much. In Bangkok, it's also suffering from the same sort of overpopulation issue or rapid expansion issue. But this one's kind of interesting. First of all, it's in an alley, and I love alleys because you have to have something unique in order to justify somebody walking all the way down. Most people don't like to walk. I love to walk. And so usually, sometimes you find something interesting. Well, this particular place, Kathy's, I guess it's called Kathy and Friends Cafe. You can see over here, it talks about what it is. And it's actually, apparently, if you believe the advertising, the only woman-run or woman-owned shop in this particular area. And so what I like about it is they've got two white cats that are super, super young and just super fun. And of course the coffee, because the marijuana purchasers subsidize the coffee and the coffee machine and everything else, the coffee is really cheap. It's half the price of Starbucks. So you can see from my perspective, I'm quite happy, not really taking any kind of drugs at all, but I benefit from all of this, right? And now you can only have a few of these shops, right? Because obviously there can only be one female-owned, shop before it becomes kind of a fad. What I notice is that between the three women here, one of them is clearly the leader, and I think she's probably connected to the police department somehow. She speaks perfect English and so on, and that kind of makes sense, right? You open one of these shops, you designate somebody who's connected to the police department to make sure that everything is okay, because you don't want these places to become fronts for money laundering. You're going to end up with like Omar and The Wire on every block, right? But this is the reason I wanted to show you this, because this place has a Spanish theme. And if you know anything about me, me gusta España y México mucho. And so they have these marijuana flavors. If you happen to be in town, I guess you can just go ahead and look at that one. They have one called Acapulco Gold, Lemon Granada. Now I have no interest in Brooklyn mango. I don't think they grow mangoes in Brooklyn. So again, but this is really cool because they have a flamenco thing over here, and you've got so it's really, really interesting. And again, this obviously can't be the basis for any sort of economy for the ordinary. But it's just really, really nice to have at least one of these shops. And of course, it wouldn't be possible to have these shops unless you decriminalize and in some cases, deregulate the industry. Now, of course, people forget that when you deregulate or actually decriminalize an industry, what you want to do is you want to regulate it. The whole idea is that you want to, there's the cat, and it's fighting to get out. Smart cat. He figured out how to open the door. Anyway, it's going to be an issue over here because they're obviously indoor cats. But I was saying that ultimately the idea behind decriminalization is that you want to regulate. And so you want to have, you want to restrict the number of these kinds of shops, just like a liquor license. You want to make the license somewhat expensive, because that would require 3 or 4 people to buy in. And again, one of them will probably be connected to the police department, right, who will have preferential access to the auctions. And then you just sort of go from there. And so you have to remember that if you don't decriminalize this whole conversation never happens. But if you don't regulate it, then this place becomes very ordinary. It becomes more likely to become a front for something else. So you have to have, the two, there it is, fighting to get out. Go free, be free. And so, again, and you don't know I don't know the history behind the woman who owned the shop, but chances are they wouldn't be in as comfortable of a position. So you have to remember, you decriminalize it so that you can give some people a better life, but you also have to regulate it so that you don't end up destroying the opportunities for people who, such as this one, who actually who are able to own the shop rather than work in a low-wage job somewhere else. This is kind of interesting. I don't know. This is apparently it's about $60 to $70 to buy one of these things. And I don't know what they are, but I guess they're some form of a bong. But they're made of bamboo. So anyway, like I said, is it interesting? Yes. Can it be the basis for a revolutionary economy away from the big banks? No. But it's still, again, you have to remember that you've got people here that are important, and you want to make sure that these sorts of places, can actually prosper. And the way to do that is to decriminalize and deregulate. Decriminalize and regulate, just like Warren G talked about a long time ago.